This video demonstration is going to walk you through the steps on how to review and accept feedback that's been provided for your team members' results review. As feedback starts to come in, you will start to receive email and task notifications to review the feedback that has been provided to you. So in order to do so, you want to click on the line item for the feedback that you want to review. You will then see that you're taken to the screen where you can now review the feedback that has come in by the feedback provider, and you are then asked to either exclude or accept this feedback. Reopen is intended for sending this back to the feedback provider should you want them to provide additional feedback or if perhaps you had questions about their responses. So assuming that you've taken a look and you've reviewed the feedback and you do want to accept it, you are going to want to click this accept button. Accepting feedback means that this feedback will then become visible for your team member once they have signed off and completed their results review. Any feedback that's been accepted will be presented to your team member in aggregate view, meaning that while they will see all of the comments in each of the different sections, they will not see the names of the individual that provided that feedback. Clicking exclude means that that feedback will continue to be provided to you. It will be visible to you. However, your team member will not see it because it will not be included in the aggregate comments. And you can see here is the feedback aggregate comments box, which will be visible to you and your team member. So that is the access that your team member will have once they want to go in and actually review the comments. This is all they will see. So going back to feedback individual comments, let's say you want to accept this person's feedback. Click accept. You don't have to enter any comments in here because no email notification will go out. You click OK. And you will then see that you've moved to completed state. So now clicking back into this feedback aggregate comments, you will be able to see the tab and what will become visible for your team member. So again, they'll see this box and this box, but they will not see the names of the individuals who provided the feedback. So now, assuming that you have additional feedback that you need to review, you can do one of two things. You can go back to this feedback individual comments box and click on this up-down arrow. You can go back to home and click on that additional task that is sitting in your taskbar as well. So let's click on this up-down arrow, and now you can see the additional individual who has feedback to be reviewed. You can see this feedback has been completed, you had accepted it. Now you can go ahead and double click or click on the line item and click OK in order to review that person's feedback. So you can see you are now then taken to the same screen asking you to review this individual's comments. And once again, you can either exclude, accept, or in those instances you do need to send it back, you can reopen. I'm going to take you back to the home page so you can now see that that second task that initially was there is now removed. So you can see you are still left with these three tasks. So again, you can either click on the My Tasks within that link, you'll be taken to the same form. Otherwise, you could have also clicked on the up-down arrow and you can see the names of the individuals who have feedback to either be reviewed, or you can see the state of the feedback for the individual that has already been reviewed. So you are now taken to the individual who has outstanding feedback. You will do the same thing as you did previously, which is to review the feedback and then to make the decision to either exclude or to accept the feedback. In this instance, I am going to exclude it so you can see that it is going to be removed from the aggregate comments. So now taking a look at this tab, keeping in mind that this tab will not be visible to your employee until they actually sign off on their results review form, which happens at the end of the process, but you will have access to that now. So again, this is what they will see. All reviewers start doing, stop doing, continue doing, and additional comments. By clicking on each of these dialog boxes, you will then be able to see, as well as your team members see, an aggregate view of all of that feedback that came in. And you can see that while there were two feedback providers, there is only one set of comments within this box because that second set of comments was excluded. Now again, as a leader, you are able to go back and view those comments. You can do that one of two ways. So you can click on this feedback individual comments box. You can still see that individual whose comments you excluded. You can see them visible here. And again, clicking on this up-down arrow will take you to the other individual. You can also click on this feedback nominations and status tab as well. And you will then be able to view that this individual, their status is completed, this individual, their comments were excluded, and you can click on the eyeglasses, view comments icon in order to view those comments, which will take you back to this tab. At this point in time, the reviewing the feedback process is now complete. So you can then go on to move to the next step one of two ways. Once again, hitting that home button and clicking on the task, or you can simply click on the results review tab, and you will then be able to see where you are in the process, which is awaiting feedback, where you can then close pending feedback and proceed. It is important to keep in mind that prior to closing this pending feedback and proceed, that you make sure that you have received all the feedback that you needed to have received as part of this person's results review. Because once you close out this process, if there are any outstanding individuals who have yet to provide feedback, they will no longer be able to submit their feedback because this process will then have been closed. So assuming that you have all of the feedback that you would like to have received for this individual's review, you can now click Close Pending Feedback and Proceed. Don't have to worry about entering comments because none will be sent. And you are now then taken to Leader Review so that you can complete your results review. This video demonstration brings us to the end of guiding you through how to review and close the feedback nominations process. If you have any questions, you can contact the Talent Development Team via emerge@mcw.edu.